Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to our revered speaker for today, His Grace KAUNTEYA Prabhu. And all glories to our Samuel Vaishnavi devotees. Devotees, we thank you for being here as always. Today is quite a busy day, but we're gonna find a way to make it because we are celebrating the 20th disappearance of His Holiness Bhakti SWAMI Maharaj. And so we are very fortunate that we have His Grace KAUNTEYA speaking to us on this very auspicious day. So Prabhuji, we may put the verse on the screen and then you take it over from there. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, text number 37 of chapter 9. And this is the Lord himself speaking to Lord Brahma. So I just read the Sanskrit. Tubhyam advichikitsayam atma me dharshito bhai nalena salile moolam pushkarasya vichinvataha. Tubhyam, unto you, mat me vichikitsayam, on your trying to know, atma, self, me, or myself, darshitaha, exhibited, abahi, from within, nalena, through the stem, salile, in the water, moolam, root, pushkarasya, of the lotus, the primeval source, vichinvataha, contemplating. Translation: when you were contemplating whether there was a source to the stem of the lotus of your birth, and you even enter into that stem, you could not trace out anything. But at that time, I manifested my form from within. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The personality of Godhead can be experienced only by His causeless mercy, not by mental speculation or with the help of the material senses. Material senses cannot approach the transcendental understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It can be appreciated only by submissive devotional service when He reveals Himself before the devotee. Only by love of God can one know God and not otherwise. The personality of God that cannot be seen with the material eyes, but it can be seen from within by spiritual eyes, opened by the ointment of love of God. As long as one's spiritual eyes are closed due to the dirty covering of matter, one cannot see the Lord. But when the dirt is removed by the process of devotional service, one can see the Lord. Without a doubt, Brahma's personal endeavor to see the root of the lotus pipe failed. But when the Lord was satisfied by his penance and devotion, He revealed Himself from within with no external ending. Om Agyanti Virandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshuram Tamena Tasmai Shri Guru Namaskar Krishna Savitarisham Jagadasami Pinamena Moshe Padai Nitai Kripa Padani Guru Kapadana Garagama Prane Namam Vishwapadai Krishna Vastai Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namne Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prasharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalparuvasya Kripasindhuvacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So thank you for inviting me again, and thank you for being here today to all the devotees. Now this verse, I was thinking, is very appropriate in the theme, in the subject of glorifying His Divine Grace, Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj Krishnapad, because Srila Prabhupada says in Chaitanya Charitamrita that the spiritual master is the Ashraya Vigraha. he used this expression. Vigraha means form, like the murti, the deity is called Vigraha, and Ashraya means shelter. So I'm reading from a purport, Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 1, text 46. And the text says, one should know the Acharya as myself. This is Krishna speaking in the 11th canto. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami quotes that in the first chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Krishna says, one should know the Acharya as myself and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him, thinking him thinking him an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all the demigods. So I'm not going to read the purport, the whole purport, but I'm reading this particular sentence. Srila Prabhupada say, only out of his immense compassion does the personality of God reveal himself as the spiritual master. Therefore, in the dealings of an acharya, there are no activities but those of transcendental loving service to the Lord. He is the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. It is worthwhile to take shelter of such a steady devotee who is called Ashraya Vigraha, or the manifestation or form of the Lord, of whom one must take shelter. So, 3 quick points. Srila Prabhupada said, in the dealings of an acharya, there are no activities but those of transcendental loving service to the Lord. This is the characteristic of pure devotees, of realized spiritual masters, that they don't do anything else but serving the Lord in different way, in different forms, in different styles, but they don't do anything else. They don't have a private life because they don't have a separate interest. Their only interest is to come closer and closer to Krishna, to the parampara, and satisfy Krishna and the parampara, and push forward the mission of Lord Chaitanya. So Srila Prabhupada explained that the Guru is known as Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. Now, it's a very particular expression. I mean, Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. In other words, the Guru represents the Lord because he speaks on behalf of the Lord. So he is not God, is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is not the creator of the universe, but is the Supreme Personality of Servitor Godhead. And then this expression, which I already mentioned, Ashraya Vigraha. It's a very important concept. Somehow Srila Prabhupada used this expression only once, as far as I know, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but it's very full of meaning. Vigraha means something that you can see. And just like Lord Brahma couldn't see the Lord, he could see the lotus, he could go down the lotus, but although the lotus comes from the navel of Garbhodakashai Vishnu, he couldn't see Vishnu, although it was there. Somehow he couldn't see, and he is Brahma, is the most qualified living entity in the universe. So we need a Vigraha, a form, just like Archa Vigraha means the form we can worship. Because Krishna is everywhere, but he kindly appears in the form of the deity so that we can practice our devotional service. We can offer fruits, we can offer flowers, we can offer dresses, we can offer music, we can offer singing, we can offer incense, we can offer lamps, because we see the deity. So that's called Vigraha. And here the Guru is called Ashraya Vigraha, because in one sense, and I say it in this particular sense, in one sense it's even more than the deities, because the deities, yes, of course, he is God himself, but generally the deity does not speak to the devotee. The devotee is still a young devotee, neophyte. But the Guru speaks to the devotees constantly. The Guru constantly speaks to the devotees. So Therefore, Ashraya Vigraha is the person in which we can actually take shelter. We can hear the classes, we can hear how he answered the questions, we can see how he dealt with different personalities within the movement, outside the movement. Some of you, of course, some of us remember Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj personally. We had asked questions, we had some interaction, and we can meditate on those interactions. And those the interaction with the spiritual masters are among the most precious experience in our life. This human life is 100 years, often nowadays very rare to get to 100 years, to get to 80, 70, 90. But in those years, generally the interactions we have with the spiritual master are among, if not the most precious, the most revealing, and the time in which we truly feel under shelter. And just like Brahma, I mean, here the Lord is telling Brahma, you remember you were looking for me, but you couldn't see me. You remember you came down in the pipe of this lotus, and still you couldn't see me, but then I manifested myself. So probably if we look back, many of us, or maybe all of us, unless of course you're born in the movement, but many of us are not born in the movement. So many of us remember how we were looking, seeking, searching, inquiring, investigating. Maybe I don't know, each one has got their own experience, but sometimes I've been a bit disorderly, maybe a bit, of course, we didn't have a guru with this. So whatever we did, Krishna saw the level of sincerity, but we can see how our life changed after meeting the spiritual master, the spiritual knowledge, how we became different people, and we may not even recognize anymore those people we were before meeting the spiritual master, before initiation, before a new identity, a new name. Even our own name, I mean, the name in the passport may sound foreign, may sound alien, may sound artificial, because our identity is the one given by our spiritual master, our name, our identity, our service. Of course, we respect our father and mother, we honor them, we are grateful for all they did, but the name they gave us may not be the best description of ourselves. Of course, they did it with love, they did their best. I'm sure they gave the best name they could think of, according to different tradition, maybe especially Christian tradition. But obviously, we don't identify so much with the name anymore if we are initiated. So today we celebrate, remember, recall the disappearance of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. It's already 20 years. And what an extraordinary life, and what an extraordinary transition to the next world that he had. I remember when I heard the news, I happened to be in Europe, I happened to be in Italy, and I remember the moment we heard Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj left this world. And of course, it wasn't a surprise, because we knew that he was already in that path. He already had announced that that was the path he chose, or the Lord chose for him, but he had accepted this path of going from this world. So it wasn't a surprise, but certainly was a great loss for all of us individually, as a movement. Personally, I still miss him very much. I have his photo here in my office, because I keep with. If you see it's not really an altar, but on top of that, it's a bookshelf in my back. I keep this photo always with me, and he was very dear to me. Probably, see what happened. I got initiated in 81, and then my spiritual master Bhagavan Maharaj left his service as guru, left his sannyas ashram. So then I took shelter in Jayapataka Maharaj. I took initiation from Jayapataka Maharaj. But thinking back, if I had not taken an initiation from Jayapataka Maharaj, there's a good chance I would have chosen Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. If I'm thinking the devotees who were available, were around at the time. But somehow I did not establish my relation with him till later, when I was already initiated. And somehow I always felt attracted. I saw him many times in India. Because his Vyasa Puja is during the festival, no, the GBC meeting, the festival. So often he had this Vyasa Puja there, sometime even in the upstairs where Jayapataka Maharaj has his quarters, on top of the Lotus building, the original building that Srila Prabhupada built. So I had the chance to participate various times. My wife was telling me, I remember we were at the last Vyasa Puja, his last Vyasa Puja in Mayapur, and we were sitting there taking prasad, and my wife was telling me today how she very innocently, I mean, she was very young, she was only 22, and she just asked Maharaj, can I get some maha from your plate? Like that. He didn't have even finished eating, but so he gave a bonda, this kind of fried type of Indian thing. So she still remembers that. I mean, what can I say that you don't know? I mean, you have even some of you are initiated by him. Of course, not all of you, but some of you are initiated by him. You gave all your life to him. So I feel almost like a trespassing in one sense, although we are all one family. But I mean, I feel honored that I have the chance to think about him. One thing I can tell you the truth. See, I've been serving in the GBC circle, and this is confidential, okay? But I felt that I would rather keep Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj and sacrifice or give up 10 or 15 GBCs to keep him. I don't know if this is very respectful or appropriate, but that's my feeling. That was my feeling. I remember, look, I would rather have him back and have 15 less GBCs. Again, it may be a little offensive, but these are sentiments, so I express them openly, okay? I really felt I'd rather have him than 10 or 15 of other devotees. All beautiful devotees, I respect them, I pay my obeisance, I worship them. But in the sense of presence, in the sense of vision, in the sense of vibration, in the sense of impact, in the sense of energy. I remember, I mean, one small thing I remember now was in Mayapur, and he came back from the small thing, like there's no really interaction, but those small things that remain in the head. He just came back from the parikrama, and he came on a jeep, and it was maybe 5, 6 in the afternoon, 4, 5, and I remember how he jumped down from the jeep. I just remember that, and I remember how much energy he had. Generally, after one day of parikrama, people are exhausted, but I just remember how he jumped out of the jeep. There was no interchange. He didn't say anything, but I remember his smile. I remember his energy. And I felt, wow, generally somebody after a day of parikrama under the sun, of dancing and chanting and walking and this and that, the dust of the dam, but people are tired. Instead, they had so much energy. So I was happy. I mean, I was blessed to see. Sometime I saw this interchanges he had with Jayapataka Maharaj, very loving relation. And because sometime I was serving Jayapataka Maharaj, so I was around when they were talking or when they were taking prasad. I remember once he was there upstairs with Jayapataka Maharaj, and Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj needed to use the bathroom. So he went to Japtaka Maharaj's bathroom and he was joking and say, Maharaj, I want to follow your footsteps anywhere, even in the bathroom. Anyway, so I had this chance of meeting him several times in Mayapur. Once I met him in Gita Nagari. He gave me his book, I think was Leadership for the Age of Higher Consciousness too. He personally gave me as a gift. And he told me something at that time in Gita Nagar. He told me some devotees, no matter what happens, they will always stay in ISKCON. And we understand what he meant. I mean, some devotees sometimes they lose their guru, the wife cheats them, or the husband cheats them, or whatever. They have bad experience with some president or whatever happened to them. But Maharaj was saying, whatever happened, they will stay. There's no. It's like you cannot get, you cannot. They cannot. They will not leave. Anything happens. But he said many devotees are not like that. So we need to create a situation of how we can facilitate the devotees to stay in ISKCON, to stay in the association of devotees, to stay in the process, to stay in the mission. So he was always meditating like that because he wanted to save the devotees. I mean, Maya is strong, the material world is nasty, and some devotees don't remain attached to the movement, they don't remain in bhakti yoga. But he wanted to see, even we could say materially, how to somehow facilitate the devotees so they can stay. Not even, they may not be so strong by themselves, but somehow create a situation. So he was into economic development, but again, not because of economic development in itself, but because that will help the devotees stay in the movement. So I was thinking one thing. Let's have a few minutes just watching him.
His enthusiasm,
What is it?
his ability to.
Sorry. Okay, let's do a couple of things if you don't mind.
See,
let's hear for 3 minutes His Holiness, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj. As you know, he was very, very, very close to him. Bhaktitirtha Maharaj almost, quote unquote, really demanded that Radhanath Maharaj stays with him all throughout his final pastimes, that he accompanied him in his moment of transition. He wanted his association. So certainly he's very, very close. So I was thinking, let's hear for 3 minutes from Radhanath Maharaj. I'm sharing, this is probably this is BT Swami Vault in YouTube. I'm sharing the link here, and that's the first video.
No,
Can you
you have the rights to share from
okay.
your yes.
Yeah, let's see if I can it doesn't give me, I have a problem here.
Okay, I can share.
Okay, so I send the link. If you click on that link, that's the channel, YouTube channel called BT Swami Vault. Maybe many of you know it, but
Yeah.
maybe we could take this 3 minutes to listen from Radhanath Maharaj. That's the first video in that channel.
Which one?
I mean, when I open it, that's the first one. It's in, I don't know. Here it doesn't come.
The other way to do that is if you click on the very one you wanted us to listen to, then you copy and then you send it in the chat room, then I'll pick it up.
Yeah, but somehow, I don't know, somehow, I'm not, let me see. Let me see. Okay, open a new link. Yes. Okay, good. Yes. I'll do what you said.
Okay.
His enthusiasm.
Okay. Here, I put another link. This is the one I wanted. Here.
Okay, I see that. All right, I got it now.
Okay, let's watch for 3 minutes Radhanath Maharaj
Yeah.
speaking about Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj.
Enthusiasm. His ability to see opportunities in the most difficult situations. When he was distributing books in the library party, he would go to places that nobody would dare to go. There's that famous story where a college was closed in Eastern Europe where it was totally illegal for him to be, and he just went to the bathroom and ended up meeting a professor in the bathroom and selling him so many sets of books, and then that person gave him the name of the librarian and so many other people just by his going to a bathroom at a time where it was a complete impossibility to succeed, became a great success. Because Krishna reciprocates with the desire of a very pure-hearted devotee. And his desire was so much to please Srila Prabhupada and to rescue fallen souls by giving those books to the colleges, to the libraries, that just going to the bathroom was one of the greatest success stories in ISKCON's history. It was miraculous. And the time when the KGB was chasing him down the halls and he was running and running and running, and he just saw a door and he ran inside and there was a professor in there. He told the secretary that, you know, I've been invited by him. And then he went in and charmed his heart. Instead of, he could have spent the rest of his life in jail if he was caught. He could have been beaten, tortured. We don't know what would have happened to him. But instead, he found it as an opportunity to spread Srila Prabhupada's word and his compassion to the world. The Bible said, seek and ye shall find. He was always seeking a chance to serve. Nothing could deter his enthusiasm. Whether he was in the inner city of Washington, D.C., whether he was in the remote villages of Africa, whether he was behind the Iron Curtain in the Soviet countries during the Iron Curtain, he was always blissful. He was always enthusiastic. And he was courageous, fearless, beyond human ability to make sense of, because he was fully dependent on Krishna's mercy.
Okay, so we heard a few crucial points on Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, the Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj that you all knew personally and you saw him in action. I want to show another video so that we can see him. We can see him and we can hear from him directly in a I would say poetic way. So if you could put this video on, it's a 7-minute thing. Did you get Prabhuji? Prabhuji? Sade Prabhu?
Sorry, I'm trying to put it up. Right. Let me do this.
Should I try now? I may be able to share. Should I try myself?
I think it's working now. Let me see.
Okay.
Oh hey Vaishnav Thakura Yara Saguru Dase Guru
Oh hey Vaishnava Thakura Doyara Sagara Edase Karuna
Kari Pada Chaya Sodohe Amaya
Diya Pada Chaya Sadaya Maya
Diya Pada Chaya Sodohe Amaya Tomara Charana Dhore Tomara Charana Dhore
Chaya Vega Domi Chaya Dosha Shodhi Chaya Guna Deho Dase
Chaya Vega Domi Chaya Dosha Sodhi Chaya Guna Deho Dase Chaya Guna Deho Dase Chaya Satsanga Deho He Amare Chaya Satsanga Deho He Amare Chaya Satsanga Deho He Amare Boshechi Sangero Ashe
Ekakiya Mara Nahi Payabala Harinam Sankirtane
Ekakiya Mara Nahi Paya Bala Harinam Sankirtane Harinam Sankirtane Shri Kripa Kore Shadavindu Deya Krishna Namadane Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Krishna se tomara, Krishna dite paro, tomara sakati ache.
Krishna se tomara, Krishna dite paro, tomara shakati ache.
Amito Kanga, Krishna Krishna boli.
Amito Kanga, Krishna Krishna boli.
Amito Kanga, Krishna Krishna boli. Gaitava pache pache. Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Edase Karuna Kori. Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, Doyara Sagara, Edase Karuna Kori. Vaishnava Thakura, Ohe Vaishnava Thakura, Ohe Vaishnava Sagara, Edase Sagara. Edase karuna kori.
Edase karuna kori.
Thank you, Sadhu Prabhu. So, I mean, frankly, when I think of glorifying Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, I feel like a dwarf trying to catch the moon. He was so special. He was so beyond. He was so above average. I mean, even among leaders, frankly speaking, he was so special. And he was always special. I mean, you probably saw read his biography, The Black Lotus, how his life was always, first of all, God conscious, and second, always idealistic, always trying to do something for the world, for the maximum amount of people. So one thing I wanted to say about him is that one expression that he used really made a lot of impression on me. He said, there are only two actions in this world: to give love and to request love. There is nothing else. That's all. Anybody, any human, animal, plant, that anything anybody does is either to give love or to ask for love. And sometimes asking for love is done in a very violent way, like Hitler. He was asking for love in a, trying to conquer countries, destroying a race of people. And so, but I really appreciated the fact that Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj had this realization that there is nothing else. So it's either an expression of love or it's a perverted reflection of love. It's a request of love done in ignorance, done in with aggression, done in tamaguna, but there's nothing else, because we are loving particles. Living entities means loving entities. And I remember realizing how he was just not just a very nice things to say. He was actually realized in that. Once I happened to be in Gita Nagar in Pennsylvania, where Maharaj left this world. Before that, it was a summer program. There was Radhana Maharaj, there was him, and they were giving initiation. And at one point, there was a girl, an African-American girl, came up for initiation. And Maharaj said the story, said, look, she's part of a family in which everybody is initiated. The brother is initiated, the father, the mother is initiated. But once I was in his house, Maharaj was saying, in their house, and she came to me very intensely and said, you will never get me. You got everybody else, but you will never get me. And Maharaj said, at that moment, I knew she will become a devotee. Because otherwise, unless she felt so strongly about devotees, she could not have said that. You go to a guru, the guru of your family, and say, you will never get me. And Maharaj said, at that moment, I knew she would become a devotee. And she was taking initiation that day. So for me was that Maharaj was not talking just like that, was realizing. He had this realization that somebody was intense feeling, even negative feelings. It's in one sense is better than somebody who is indifferent. I know people who are indifferent. I can tell you, I give you an example. My sister, okay, my little sister, and I mean, she's a nice person. If she can help me in something, she can do it. And once we were in her place with. She's a travel agent, very good travel agent. She studied, and once she did a very complicated ticket for Japtaka Maharaj. So she had never criticized. She had never, but it's 45 years I'm in this movement, and she had never shown any interest, neither interest nor any criticism. She never said anything negative about Krishna. She came to India 3 times, to Mayapur, Vrindavan, many temples. But somehow, I don't want to offend her or anything. I'm sure she did some advancement, but she was always kind of indifferent, never disrespectful, never criticizing, never fighting. She saw me for decades being in this movement. She apparently never had any problem. She hosted me in her house, and so if she can help, she helps. But she was never really attracted to Krishna consciousness in any form. But I saw how Maharaj knew that somebody who is very intensely against Krishna consciousness, sometimes, not always, but sometimes they may be very, very close to surrender to Krishna. That's why they are so intense, because for them Krishna is important, either positively or negatively. We see in the Bhagavatam so many asuras, they get killed by Krishna, but because they were always thinking of Krishna, they become residents of Vaikuntha with the same form. not only Jai and Vijay, which of course they were already in Vaikuntha, but even people like Paundraka. Paundraka was that crazy man who said, I am the real Vasudeva. I told Krishna, you should give up these symbols. You should give up this chakra. Sudarshan chakra is actually mine. And he had two false arms. I mean, the guy was really deluded. Right? And then finally Krishna said, you want my disc? Here's my disc. And he cut his head off. So, but even this idiot, he became a Vaikuntha resident with the four arms, like Krishna, like Narayana, with the four symbols, not the original symbols, but they're also symbols. So I'm just saying, sometimes those who are always meditating in Kamsa, always meditating on Krishna, in the form of Krishna, in fear. In fact, Narada Muni in the 7th canto, he says, in a humble way, he says, I think they have more intensity. I'm almost jealous of these demons. They can think of Krishna with such intensity. I'm not able to do that. So sometimes we see, and maybe you have your own stories, how people were intensely negative. They're actually very close. That's why they're intensely negative, because they feel strong about Krishna. And I remember Maharaj having this deep realization of this fact, that there is nothing else. There is either a giving love or requesting love, even if the form of requesting love is very strange and very perverse. Anyway, so we have a few minutes if you want to ask any question or to share any remembrance. As I said, I shared in the chat this site, this YouTube channel, probably many of you know it, but there is so many glorifications about Maharaj. I see many devotees. I see Sachinanda Maharaj, Chandra Moli Maharaj, I see Shivas Prabhu, I see Vrajalila and husband, like that. And then, of course, there are many, many videos of Maharaj singing, chanting, speaking, dancing, and so on. Anyway, I'm sure you are familiar with this channel. I put it back again, just in case somebody came later. So any comment, any sharing, or any... before the sharing, I also wanted to tell you, some of you, most of you, maybe all of you know, today is Ratha Yatra Day. So we just had Ratha Yatra in Mayapur, in Calcutta. And actually, it's going on also in Puri at this very moment. Maybe you can... you can put this live for a few seconds. See, they start in the morning, but the chariot are still near the main temple. Can I share that with you?
Yes,
I put it in the chat. You can put for everybody. This is live from Puri. Just to give you a glimpse of what's happening right now in Puri. See, in India, they tend, ISKCON tend to do the Ratha Yatra on the same day as Puri. So in Calcutta, in Mayapur, and other places, today was Ratha Yatra Day. And in the West is different, of course. The devotees do according to different considerations. Sometimes it's some other festival, summer festival, some other occasion. So, but in India, they tend to have it in the same day today. I mean, you can put a little bit down. Okay, Prabhu, can you put the volume down? Can you put the volume down? Anyway, I just wanted to give you a glimpse. This is going on right now, although it's almost 9:30 here in India. In Puri, they're still moving the chariots. As you know, Jagannath was sick for a couple of weeks after Snana Yatra. Now he moves to. Hey, Prabhu, can you put the volume down? Put the volume down. Hey, Prabhu, can you put the volume down?
भगवान जगन्नाथ
Hey, Prabhu, can you put the volume down?
काला कहा जाता है निर्बल के भक्त भगवान धनबल के लिए धनवलाम राम राम धन के धन हो और बल होता है इसीलिए आप भक्त चल रहे सकल भरी भगवान मार्ग रूप रहो तुम्हारे परिवार रही सारी मनुष्य आज लीला का सार करता है क्योंकि जय जगन्नाथ भक्त है जगन्नाथ रूप कर करता है आप यहू आप
Okay, Sadhe Prabhu. Sadhe Prabhu.
यात्रा भवदाल करने काम
Sadhe Prabhu. Sadhe Prabhu.
आप देख रहे हैं श्याम उदास रहते हैं श्याम श्याम गगन घटा रही है और
Sadhe Prabhu. Sadhe Prabhu. Sadhe Prabhu. Okay, Sadhe Prabhu, thank you. I was asking, I don't know, maybe you couldn't hear. I could ask to put the volume down. But anyway, thank you. Thank you very much. So this is just a glimpse. This is live. It's happening right now in Jagannath Puri. You see thousands of people. You know this devotee, Madhavananda Prabhu, disciple of Gaur Govinda Maharaj. Probably, I don't know if you ever invited him. Madhavananda Prabhu is a great expert in the Gaudiya and Oriya culture. He lives in Puri many years. And this morning at 4 o'clock, he posted something on Facebook. He was already there at 4 o'clock in the morning. Somehow he got this place there's this place where they put the dignitaries, celebrities, and so on. So he got a place there. And he was there since 4 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, so this is and of course, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj is also very famous for his participation to many Ratra Yatra in which he danced and he charmed everybody with his dance, with his singing, with his tambourine. Okay, so if is there any comment or question? Otherwise, we are already 1 hour into the program. Of course, for those who are initiated by him, this is a time of rededication to really decide to continue to make him proud that his disciples should become a beacon of harmony, beacon of enthusiasm, a beacon of productivity in devotional service. And of course, many Bhakti-tirtha Maharaj are very distinguished as exemplary Vaishnavas in many ways. So they keep glorifying the spiritual master by their example and by their missionary spirit. So, any question or comment on anything we discussed today?
Well, Hare Krishna. There is echo. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, reflections, please you may raise your hands or your physical hand or the hand emoji, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question or share your reflections. But before we do that, we want to formally recognize His Holiness Kavichandra Swami Maharaj, who is in the house. Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for being here. Our humble obeisances. Our God is still, let us read our God is Krishna Prabhu. So, I'm not sure if Maharaj, you may want to say something. Well, while we wait for Maharaj, in case he has something to share. Okay.
Yeah.
Maharaj,
Haribol,
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Lord Prabhupada,
All glory
accept my
all glory
obeisances.
to you.
Well, I gave class last week, but they told me that was the TT of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj's appearance, so the whole class was about him. I didn't. What's today?
Yeah, today is just the celebratory part. The 17th that you spoke, and you spoke so beautifully, that was the actual TT True Baba Day. But today is like a celebration, an international celebration. So
Oh, really?
lots of
Wow.
international devotees are already.
I didn't know that. I didn't see it advertised anywhere. Anyway, I already gave what I could, but it's not, he's too far elevated to glorify properly. But, I just saw somebody saying exactly what Prabhupada said, actually. He said, after all these wars, Africa will be the farm of the world to feed the world. And Prabhupada had said that. He said, when the wars will all be in the northern hemisphere, and buy as much land as you can in Africa and make farms. Because they're not going to bomb Africa. So let's do that. Okay, that's all I can say now. I'm really tired. I just traveled all day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maharaj,
Yeah,
for being here today. As I understand, Maharaj is in Europe
yeah.
on lots of different Ratha Yatras going all over the world.
I went to a couple. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
We thank you for being here today. And Sri KAUNTEya Prabhu, thank you so much for these sharings. I very well remember how Bhakti Maharaj would oftentimes send devotees into our zone, West Africa. And your humble self happens to be one of such devotees that Gurudev personally asked you to visit us to help enthuse us. And you may not know, but you've provided so much positive influence in the lives of so many West African devotees, including myself. I'm one of the fortunate beneficiaries of your association. And we cannot thank the Guru. We cannot sufficiently pay back what the Guru does for us, but at least we'll have the desire to try to fulfill his instructions. And one of his major instructions is to love Srila Prabhupada, to love the devotees, and to love Srila Prabhupada's house, which is ISKCON. So thank you for sharing what you shared with us. And I don't know if devotees, some of you may have something else to ask or to share before we bring this to a close, because I have to be in Giranagri now. I'm still in my house. I should have been in Giranagri, but we also wanted to have this program run. So, but Shri Kaunteya Prabhu, thank you so much, especially for speaking today, and in general for all the wonderful services you rendered to devotees in West Africa, of which I am one of them. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
If I can be of any use, it'll be my privilege and my honor. If anybody find anything useful in what I do, that would be my happiness. Thank you so much.
Well, I tell you honestly, yes. And I'm not alone in this, because of course we are a God family, so we interact. And I know other devotees have same feeling, same sentiment as I do about you. And even outside of Africa, you are still so kind to me, even where I am at the moment. So it's my honor, and I hope that I can make better advantage of this association and enlightenment I'm getting. So without further ado, maybe we'll bring this to a close, and therefore we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute yourselves, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our deepest appreciation to our revered speaker for today's Grace Kaunteya Prabhu, and also to offer our humble obeisances to His Holiness Kavichandra Swami Maharaj, who is in the house. Please, you may all unmute. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare Hare.
Ram, Hare Hare.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhyavacha
Yeah.
Skitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Anantapati Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai.
Yeah.
All glories to His Holiness Kavichandra Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. All glories to
Yeah.
Kavichandra Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. And all glories to Grace Kaunteya Prabhu Ki Jai.
Yeah.
All Vaishnava devotees Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.